Ever dreamt of being king of the open road? With that big rig rumbling beneath you?
Yeah, I can see the appeal.
Well, you've sent over this stack of articles all about becoming a cargo vehicle driver.
Oh, this is going to be good.
And let me tell you, this deep dive is about to shift our perspective on what it takes to keep, well, the world moving, basically.
I'm ready.
We're not just talking about long hauls and, those diesel fumes. We're unpacking the whole deal, from the tech in those trucks to the real career paths out there.
You know what's fascinating to me? There's so much variety in this field.
Hmm.
Like one article I was reading, it highlighted like those local delivery routes as a great way to start out, which isn't what most people picture, right?
No, not at all.
When they think truck driver, you don't think of like mail delivery or anything.
Right, you think cross country, yeah.
Exactly. But imagine, you're not just hauling cargo, you're practically a local celebrity on like a regular route.
It's like that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but instead of webs, it's packages.
I love it.
Okay, but seriously, that local aspect, it does make you think about the job differently.
That's for sure.
Speaking of different, I was blown away by, honestly, how much tech is involved now. These drivers are practically piloting spaceships compared to, like, a few decades ago.
It's mind-blowing. And we're not talking just GPS here.
Oh, really?
One article I saw went into detail about this AI-powered routing software, right?
Okay.
It considers like traffic and weather, even fuel efficiency, and it does it all in real time. It's like having this co-pilot, right?
Wow.
Whose only job is to make sure you're having the smoothest, smartest trip possible.
Okay, that's next level stuff. No more, like, arguing with your buddy over which shortcut is actually faster.
Right.
But jokes aside, all this tech, it must make a huge difference in how the job is actually done.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about efficiency. Remember, those clunky paper logbooks drivers used to keep track of everything?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Electronic logging devices are like the new standard now. And they're making a real impact on safety and, keeping everyone honest and in compliance.
Yeah.
It's much harder to fudge those hours when computer's the one keeping track.
Right. So it's not just about, like, making the driver's life easier.
Right.
It's about everyone on the road being safer.
Exactly.
But let's be real for a second. There's got to be a reason those, like those old trucker tales exist, right?
Oh, yeah.
What about the challenges of the job? I'm guessing those long hauls, they aren't always smooth sailing.
You're telling me one article, it actually featured this interview with this, like, seasoned driver.
Yeah.
He was describing, oh man, this harrowing experience. It was like navigating a blizzard.
Oh, wow.
In the Rockies. Imagine that, right?
Yeah.
White knuckle driving, barely able to see, and you've got a deadline, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've got to deliver that cargo.
Yeah.
That takes like nerves of steel.
Talk about a trial by ice and snow. It makes you realize that being a cargo vehicle driver isn't just about, like, your driving skills.
Right.
It's about problem solving, resilience, and keeping your cool, under pressure.
Absolutely. And honestly, let's not forget the physical demands.
Oh, right.
I mean, loading and unloading, especially if you're not on a route that has, those fancy automated systems.
Right, right.
It can be really tough. This isn't a job for, like, someone who's afraid of a little hard work,
No, for sure. Or someone with a bad back, I would imagine.
Right.
You've got a point there. So you've got the high tech, the high stakes, and the physically demanding aspects.
Yeah.
It sounds like a pretty intense career path. But before we dive into the pros and cons, let's talk about, like, the actual licenses needed, because, surprise, it's not as simple as just, like, getting your driver's license.
You're telling me? One article actually, it delved into all the different classes of commercial driver's licenses.
Oh, okay.
Or CDLs, as they're called,
Right.
And for those big rigs we often picture, you're looking at a Class A CDL.
Okay.
Which lets you operate vehicles over 26,000 pounds. It's a whole other level of training and certifications.
See, before you even dream of, like, cruising down the highway in an 18-wheeler, you've got to navigate this whole world of CDLs.
Exactly.
I bet that's like a whole other deep dive waiting to happen.
For sure.
But for now, let's get back to, like, the realities of life on the road, What are some of the things someone, like, considering this career, what should they, like, really think about before taking the plunge, would you say?
Well, I guess we got to talk about, like, the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Or should I say the elephant, on the open road.
Right.
It's those long hauls.
Yeah.
The ones that take drivers away from home for days, weeks,
Right, for sure.
That's like the trade-off for the open road, that independence,
It's like that old saying, home is where you park it. But seriously, that kind of lifestyle, I mean, it's not for everyone.
Right.
The articles we have here, they do paint like a pretty, stark picture of the sacrifices involved, I'd say.
For sure.
It takes, a special kind of person to thrive on the road while missing out on like everything back home.
Exactly. And it's not just like, oh, I miss a birthday or a holiday. It's like deeper than that. It's the potential strain on, your relationships, the loneliness.
Yeah.
One article even touched on how important it is for drivers to find those healthy ways to deal with that isolation.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Things like staying connected with, family, friends, loved ones, finding those hobbies, right?
Yeah.
That they can take with them on the road.
Right.
And like really prioritizing, their mental well-being, making that a priority.
It makes you realize it's not just about physical endurance out there,
Yeah.
but like emotional resilience too. These drivers, they're like what? Modern day nomads navigating not just highways, but like the ups and downs of a whole like unique lifestyle.
That's a great way to put it. But it's not all doom and gloom on the open road.
Okay, good.
The articles also highlight some like major perks, starting with the pay, it's competitive, and the job security.
Okay, that's definitely a plus. Especially these days, a career that's got that good earning potential and job security. I mean, that's worth its weight in, well, cargo.
I love it.
Yeah,
And you can't forget the adventure, the freedom.
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, one driver described it as like having a front row seat to like the beauty and grandeur of the entire country.
Wow.
Imagine that, right? Like watching the sun rise over the plains,
Yeah.
winding through those mountain passes, breathtaking views.
It's like you're being paid to go on like a road trip
Right.
every day. But instead of those cheesy souvenir shops, you've got those delivery deadlines, truck stops.
That's the reality check. But hey, even those truck stops, they kind of have their own like charm.
Right.
It's a chance to meet people from like all walks of life, share some stories, get tips on like the best roadside diners.
Yeah.
It's the whole subculture.
Oh,
Most people, they never get to experience that.
I can see the appeal. It's like this secret society, but for, road warriors.
I love it.
So we've talked about the challenges, the perks, and that like really unique lifestyle. But what about the people who like they're in it for the long haul, like literally?
Yeah.
What's that career path really look like, would you say, for a cargo vehicle driver?
That's where things get really interesting.
Mm.
It's not just about, getting those miles logged.
Right.
It's about like really building up your skills, showing leadership.
Okay.
Many drivers, they start off in those entry-level positions,
Makes sense.
gain experience, and they kind of like work their way up that ladder.
So you can go from like newbie driver to what, like seasoned road veteran. But what does moving up even mean, like in this field?
Well, you could become a driver trainer. Those veterans with a knack for teaching, they can mentor the new drivers coming in.
Right, right.
Yeah, help them get comfortable behind the wheel of, well, a big rig.
I can see how that'd be rewarding, passing on, what you've learned to that next generation of like road warriors.
Absolutely. And for those who are more into logistics, really organized, there's a whole different path.
Yeah.
Dispatcher or logistics coordinator.
Oh, okay.
Imagine you're like the mastermind behind all those delivery routes,
Yeah.
making sure everything gets where it needs to be on time and on budget.
It's like you're like the air traffic control, but for, the cargo world.
I love it.
So from driver to trainer to logistics, okay, there are quite a few options actually to climb that career ladder. But let's say someone's ready, to take the plunge. They've got their CDL, they're fueled up, ready for adventure, ready to hit the open road. What's the next step? Like, how do you even get that first cargo vehicle driving job?
That's where all those interview tips we found, they come in handy.
Okay.
Because it's not enough to just have like a clean driving record and a passion for the open road.
Right.
You got to ace that interview. Convince those employers that you're the right person for the job.
I bet those interviews can be tough.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with, everything that comes with the job.
Right. One article even said that some companies, they're using simulations now
Whoa.
as part of the interview.
Whoa, wow.
Like they put you behind the wheel of a virtual truck
Really?
to see how you do with like tough conditions, unexpected obstacles on the road.
Virtual trucks.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about taking, high-tech hiring to a whole new level. It makes you wonder, with all this technology we've been talking about, impacting the field and all, what does the future even hold for cargo vehicle drivers?
I mean, self-driving cars are everywhere these days. So like are self-driving trucks that far behind?
That's the question, isn't it? The million-dollar question. And
Hmm.
the articles we have, they offer some really interesting points of view. Like, some experts really seem to think that, yeah, automation is going to lead to fewer driver jobs,
Yeah, that makes sense.
especially for those long hauls.
Just picture it, convoys of self-driving trucks, just making their way across the country. And maybe there's just like one human driver just overseeing things, from like a central hub somewhere.
It's like straight out of a sci-fi movie. But then again, wouldn't that kind of tech, like, create new jobs in the field, too?
Oh, absolutely. We probably see a huge need for like skilled technicians, people who can keep those autonomous trucks running,
Mm.
do the repairs and all that. And don't forget the logistics side of it, the software development, those fields would just explode with new career paths.
So it's not really a question of, like, humans versus machines, is it?
Right.
It's more like figuring out how we adapt to work, alongside them.
Exactly. And some experts, they even say that, look, we'll always need human drivers no matter what.
Interesting. Even with all the automation.
Even then. Think about it. Those last mile deliveries, navigating through cities, those
It,
tight spots, or just dealing with unexpected situations that pop up on the road.
yeah,
You need a human brain for that, human judgment.
that makes sense. You can't exactly program a truck, at least not yet, to parallel park on a busy street or get around like a construction zone.
Yeah.
Humans, we've got that adaptability that's, well, it's hard to replicate, at least with technology.
Exactly. And let's not forget the customer service aspect.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
A self-driving truck, it can deliver a package on time, sure. But it's a human driver who can, like, offer a friendly face,
Yeah.
lend a hand, or even just, have a little conversation.
Right. That personal touch makes all the difference.
Exactly.
Especially for those local deliveries we talked about. Imagine your usual friendly driver shows up with your package instead of, some robot on wheels.
Exactly. It's all about finding that balance,
Okay.
between all the amazing technology and those qualities that humans bring that, well, you just can't replace.
Well said. So for anyone out there who's thinking about hitting the open road, it seems like the future of being a cargo vehicle driver, it's full of potential.
It really is.
Whether you're behind the wheel or, working in a related field.
It's a changing world out there, that's for sure. But like we've seen in this deep dive, it's an industry packed with opportunity. If you're looking for adventure, stability, and, the chance to be a part of something that really matters, well, this could be it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. From like all those high-tech gadgets to those, really human stories, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, no pun intended. Hopefully you're driving away with a whole new perspective on cargo vehicle drivers and really the whole industry. Until next time, keep those engines revving, keep those curiosity wheels turning, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.